Hello, everybody. This is Dusty again from the Fellowship Committee, and today we are here with Rosemary Brinkmeyer, who I am just getting to know. Met her at Knitting and More, one of the things that we can get involved with here at church. And I understand from her fellow church members and friends that she has a great deal of connection to Yankton UCC, and I can't wait to hear more about it. So, Rosemary, thank you for being here with us today. So, the first question: when did you become a member of our church, or when did you start coming to this church, and what influenced you?
I first began coming to this church when I went to Yankton College in 1952. 52. I was in the college choir, and that was my introduction to the church. And then later, after we left college and came back, that was 1970. That's when Jean became the minister of music in this church.
Okay.
And
Jean was
and
your
we
husband,
became official members
right?
at that time. Yes.
Okay, and so he was involved in music for how long?
His whole life.
Yeah. Did he grow up here?
No, he grew up in Nebraska, in Norfolk.
Okay.
Probably mostly in Norfolk.
Okay.
Yes.
And you grew up here?
No, I grew up all over the country.
Oh, why was that?
My father was a minister.
Oh,
He was
PK.
a German Congregational Church,
Oh, wow.
and we lived in Milwaukee, and we lived in Lincoln, and we lived in two little towns in North Dakota.
What did you like the most?
What did I like the most?
Yeah, I mean, what town, I guess.
Oh my, well, I don't know that I had a preference, really.
Okay.
I mean,
See, I'm from Madison, Wisconsin, so I would go
Okay.
Milwaukee right away. But,
okay,
you
well,
know.
I was born in Milwaukee. See?
All right, there you go.
Yes.
So,
After that time, my parents moved to Brazil. He was a missionary at that time, and I went to live with relatives in McAllen, Texas. So I became a Texan for 2 years. I
Wow.
graduated from high school there.
wow.
And then after high school, I went to live with them in Brazil for 2 years.
So that's your surprising thing.
That's my surprising thing.
Yeah.
I guess so. Okay.
Brazil. What do you remember about Brazil?
It was pretty primitive. We lived in southern Brazil, in the interior, small town, and my father traveled a lot. He helped the German immigrants there that came in the late 30s, and then the war started, and there was a great feeling against them.
Uh-huh.
And they took away their schools and their language and kind of dumped them in the interior. And he went there to help them restore that, the churches and the schools, and so he traveled there a great deal. My mother and I kind of stayed in the town, and then I went to a girls' school there for 1 year or two.
Wow.
So that was my experience for 2 years there.
So do you speak German or Spanish?
German, Spanish, Portuguese.
All
English.
right.
Brazil is Portuguese.
Okay. Did not know that. I just went
But don't
to
ask
Portugal.
me to say anything now anymore because I haven't practiced for years.
Bom dia. I know you might
Como
know
está?
that.
Yeah.
So there you go. I was just in Portugal not that long ago.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
loved it.
Yes.
Just loved it.
Yes.
So, but I did not know that Brazil was Portuguese.
Oh, yes.
Fun.
Definitely.
Well, it should, because a lot of if you
Oh, yes, the
sail right
immigrants.
off Portugal, it goes to Brazil. I
Right.
knew that from one of the tours we
Yes,
took.
yes,
So yeah.
mhm.
Well, that's really
Yeah.
neat. So, did your dad speak fluent?
He learned.
Okay.
He learns English languages fairly
My father too.
quickly. He was very good at it. Yes.
Yeah, my father spoke
Yeah.
about 10 different languages
Yeah.
and could
Yeah.
switch. I do
Uh-huh.
not have that
Yes.
gift.
No.
I am not gifted.
No,
in
I don't
that.
either, and I haven't practiced for years, and so
Yeah.
it's gone.
Yeah. So, what is your earliest memory of being with your parents? I mean, as far as
Probably Lincoln,
okay,
because we lived there until I started school,
okay.
and that's about what I remember there.
So you lived in town,
We lived in town. Yes, they had a small
Yep.
church in town.
okay,
Yeah.
and you went to the public school in Lincoln.
I might have gone to kindergarten. I barely remember going to something. It must have been kindergarten.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
my
then
dad.
we moved.
Okay, my dad was a college professor, and so we moved also. So
okay.
I remember little bits and pieces.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So after Lincoln, where did you go?
We moved to Hebron, North Dakota. And
Cold.
we were there about 7 years, and then to Medina, North Dakota.
Oh my.
So those are two small towns on either side of Bismarck.
Okay.
And they're right in the middle of the state. And took me up to grade 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. That must have been fun. Lots of snow.
Well, I didn't have, don't remember anything very unhappy about it. It was.
So you were involved in music
I played the piano.
Okay.
I played the piano, yes.
Okay.
And I was involved in that a lot, yeah.
Yeah. So then you graduated high school, and what happened?
In McAllen, Texas, I
Okay.
graduated from high school, yes.
All right. And then what did you do?
Then I went to Brazil for
Okay.
2 years. And then when I came back, I went to Yankton College.
All right.
1952.
And where in there did you meet your husband? How did you meet your husband?
First week in Yankton College.
Oh my goodness. And it was love at first sight?
Well, I don't know that it was that, but we got to know each other then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was your first date? Do you remember?
A sock hop, I think.
Oh, fun.
I kind of think it was something like that anyway.
Yeah. And you graduated from Yankton College?
I did, but I didn't finish there. I went to 3.5 years, and then my husband graduated, and we went to live in New York City.
Oh my
for
goodness.
2 years. He went to graduate school there at the
Okay.
Union Seminary.
Okay.
There, and the School of Sacred Music.
Mm. Oh wow.
And so we were there for 2 years. Yes.
How did you like New York?
It was wonderful. We were young.
Uh-huh.
It was wonderful. Yes.
So you got married while you were in college?
My last year. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get married here in town?
In Norfolk.
Okay.
My husband's parents were also ministers. His father was also a minister.
Oh my goodness.
Congregational minister, and he had a church in Norfolk, and so we were married there. Yes.
So there's no excuse to get away from the
No.
church at all. No.
No.
So, did you have a big wedding?
Yes, we had 2 churches. My husband graduated from the seminary here,
Okay.
and he had what do they call a church that he served in Wisner, Nebraska.
Okay.
And so we had that congregation and the Norfolk congregation.
Oh my goodness.
Well, they have to come to the wedding after all,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But we didn't have the grand weddings they have nowadays.
No.
We had cake and mint and nuts, and that was
Yeah.
it, and no big dinner or anything like that.
But you had a good time.
We did have a wonderful time, yes.
Good. Did you go on honeymoon?
Not really. We came back. We were married on the 21st of December, and so we came back and went to school.
Yep. Yep.
And finished that year, yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah,
It's a good time to get married because all the church is already decorated and everything.
that's right.
So, beautiful
Poinsettias,
time of year.
beautiful.
Did you have attendance?
Yes, my
Yeah.
sister and my college roommate, yes.
Did they wear Christmas colored outfits?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm, yeah,
Good memories.
yes.
I love it. So, did you work then at all after?
No.
Okay.
Well, yes, I did in New York
Okay.
for a period, about a year. I worked at the American Cyanamide Company in their technical library on the 60th floor of the Rockefeller Center.
Oh
I have
my
to say that.
goodness. Wow.
Oh, that was fun, yes.
I bet
It's
it
fun to
was.
say that.
Yeah. It would still be fun to
Yes.
say that. So, was it as multicultural New York back then as now, or somewhat?
I guess so. I don't
Yeah.
really remember thinking about that at
Okay.
all.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love going to New York. I
Mhm.
just think it's
It
fascinating.
was quite an experience, yes.
Yeah. And I went there with my kids
Mm-hmm.
And we found plenty of parks and everything for the kids to
yes.
go to. There were
Yeah.
parks everywhere. People think it's just cement, and
Oh no.
there were
Oh,
neighborhood
no.
parks everywhere.
Right. Right.
So I thought it was great.
Yes. Right.
So, what do you remember about your grandparents?
Well, my parents and my oldest brother and sister were all born in Germany, and they came to this country in the early 1920s, and I wasn't born until 1932, and I never met a grandparent until I went to McAllen, Texas, where my grandfather was living with the uncle that I lived with.
Oh,
So that's the only grandparent that I ever met,
wow.
And he died shortly after that. So and he knew only German at the time. And
Do you know what they did when they moved here?
My mother's family were Mennonites,
Okay.
and they farmed
Mm-hmm.
for generations there. And my father's family, I think he was a shoemaker.
Okay. So they moved to Texas when they came from
No,
Germany?
they moved to Flint, Michigan. No, they didn't move to Flint. I'm getting tangled up. They moved to Detroit. The men came first,
Okay.
and they worked in the factories, the cars, because
Okay.
they understood that. And then they brought their wives over and their
Okay.
families over. And my mother and father, both their families did that.
Wow.
And so they started in Michigan, and then one went to Texas, one stayed in Michigan, and they moved around,
So do you know how they found out that there were jobs?
I have no idea.
I
No
just
idea.
cannot imagine doing something
No,
like
I can't
that.
either.
And it just astounds
Yes,
me that
yes.
these young kids
Yes,
did that.
yes.
So I
Yeah.
can't wait till I can find out. I gotta keep asking,
Yeah.
keep digging.
I was talking to somebody about that recently, and they said they didn't think they could do that. And I got to thinking about it and thought, you've never been desperate enough
Mm-hmm.
to know what it must have felt like to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're really desperate, if there's no possible way you can live
Mm-hmm.
or any work for you to do, then you will risk things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because just think of these people that,
Yeah.
immigrated.
Right.
Had to be terribly, terribly,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the way
I
it is.
agree. I agree. So, did you have any ideas of what your life was going to be like when you got married?
Well, I've been in the church all my life. My father, of course,
Mhm.
though the German church is a little different than the English church, that's for sure. Much more liberal, but I just loved music, and I figured my husband was making music,
Mhm.
and I was singing in the choir, and that was it.
Yeah.
I figured that was
Now,
it.
did he play any other? Did he played
The
piano and organ?
Organ,
Okay.
yes. And he taught that and voice, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Wonderful.
And we went back east again to live in New Jersey for a period of time when he
Okay.
was working on a doctorate.
Okay.
But his primary teacher died, and so we would have had to start all over again. And we thought it's not worth it
Mm-hmm.
after spending 3 years doing that. So we
Mhm.
came back,
Okay.
and then he started to teach at Yankton College,
Okay.
and that's where he continued until it closed.
Okay.
And then he went to Mount Marty and taught there for 30 years. So
Oh my goodness.
So- he's been,
Yeah, he's been very involved
Yeah.
in the community. So, what do you what are the things that you really remember about the connection to the church for the two of you?
for the two of us.
Yeah, well, you were both here, right? I mean,
It's always the music. It's
Yeah.
always been the music. That's the thing that's been so terrific about this church, really,
Yes.
is
we have a
it's
beautiful
a
organ.
connection. Yes.
Yep. And
And
I
the choir
understand.
was always very good.
Yes.
And
Yep.
we did interesting works, and there was always something challenging there. And that's most of it. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's really, and the wonderful people here, really.
Yeah, very
It's
wonderful people.
very, yeah.
Yeah. So, if you had, well, actually, let me ask you this one first. What's something that you have had in your life that you don't have now that's really something that you wish you still had?
Goodness, I don't know. The one thing we haven't touched on is that I did go back to school when I was 35
Oh,
and went into dental hygiene, and I was a dental hygienist for 27 years.
oh my goodness. Wow.
So that I miss. I love doing that.
Yeah.
And so that's one.
I think that's a
One thing I
passion
did.
you have to look in people's mouths
Well,
and clean
I
them
guess
up.
so, but you're working with people, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Very intimately with people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I kind of missed that when I retired, but
Yeah.
I retired in 2000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not that long ago.
22 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you're going to stay here. You're loving it here. I
Yeah,
love
this
you.
is where I will stay.
I
will stay.
love this town.
Yeah.
It's so much fun here.
It is good.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's really good. So, advice
So
that. Go ahead.
I just don't think of anything else really that that you mentioned.
Yeah.
That
Anything you want
No.
to tell the congregation?
no,
No. Okay.
no, that's enough.
Well, I have one more question.
All right.
If you had the opportunity to give your younger self advice or younger folks today, what would you say?
To try more things.
Ah,
Not to worry so much about failing or not doing the perfect job. I tend to be a perfectionist, and I have to remind myself not to do that.
yeah.
We're not perfect.
No.
And to be satisfied with something that's not perfect.
So you're doing
No.
some knitting downstairs.
Yes.
When did you start doing that?
Oh, I've knitted a good part of my adult life, really.
Okay.
Yes, off and on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other skills that you have that?
I love puzzles. I'm good at that.
All right.
I'm great at playing solitaire. I can really do that. I do it fast.
Oh, that's awesome. My
I
grandmother
read
taught
and
me about
read,
4 different
yeah.
kinds of solitaire games.
Yeah, but I do it fast.
Yeah.
And if I make an error, that's too bad.
Oh.
See, I keep trying.
Okay.
And what else do I do? I read a great deal.
Good.
I'm a mystery fan. I really
Ah.
more than that, but mainly I love mysteries. Yes, good, solid mysteries. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. And music.
Yes, and music.
Listening. I miss not being able to sing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The old voice is gone, pretty
Yeah.
much. Oh, I do have one other thing. Yes, that I love to do is that for 10 years, a friend and I have been meeting every Monday morning to play dulcimers.
Oh, wow.
She got one for her birthday, and I picked up one, had one at home, and we get together and we play dulcimers. We have a great time.
That's such a beautiful
Yes.
sounding
Yes.
instrument.
Well, you know.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, we've given a few programs to in nursing homes and things like that before the pandemic, but we don't really do that anymore. We just play for fun. We
Yeah.
enjoy getting together and doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might sneak in and listen to you sometime
Yeah.
on a Monday. I love that.
We play a lot of hymns and children's songs.
Oh, good.
You would recognize everything that we play.
Oh, that's
A lot
fun.
of things that people can sing along with that don't need even words, and
Right.
sing along with them. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Good
wonderful.
time.
Yeah. Ah.
Yeah.
Good thing to take
Yeah.
up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Rosemary, thank you so much for spending
most
this
welcome.
time with me and letting
Yeah.
me get to know you more.
Okay.
And I can't wait to keep in touch
Well,
and see ya and
thank you.
maybe come and hear some dulcimer music.
Yes.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
All right.